You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Y&R fans, Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got some big changes afoot that have me wondering if we're about to see 3 big breakups, 3 new couples formed, and 2 people left out in the cold, unless they wind up together too. There is a lot of movement lately suggesting at least 1 split and possibly more, but I hope that 2 of these splits don't happen. But I am seeing red flags. It has me worried. So let's chat about this. But first, please hit subscribe if you haven't. The first couple I want to talk about is one I think is definitely going to break up: Tucker McCall and Audra Charles. They've been on thin ice off and on for a while now. I mean, let's face it, she was his booty call for many years while Tucker was also betting other women. He's never been a monogamous type of man. You know, history tells us that. And he was hyper-focused on Ashley ever since he and Audra came to Genoa City, but then it all fell apart. I just wonder if Tucker is wondering if Ashley's mental health issues are one of the causes of their divorce. That might have him really thinking things through a different way. But that's not even the current problem between him and Audra. The current problem at the moment is what's going on with Devon Hamilton. Tucker sees this shot to get back in Devon's life and back in his good graces. So Tucker wants to stay in Genoa City and try and help Devon wage war on Jill and Billy Abbott instead of leaving for Paris with Audra as they planned, as he promised to woo her and show her a good time. He was happy to go with her to Europe when there was nothing else on his radar. But the moment something turned up, he backed out, and now she's livid. And Nate Hastings is waiting in the wings, ready to pounce. This week, Audra pours out her frustrations to Sally Spectra, doesn't get quite the sympathy she hoped for, but then Nate Hastings is right there, crosses her path, and gives her sympathy and all the warm fuzzies that she wanted. And that came with a dinner invitation. Plus, Nate's already made it clear he wants to be with Audra. And with her ready to kick Tucker to the curb, will she have her Nate on her mattress this week, maybe next week? Could be. That would be a very Audra thing to do. So yeah, I just don't see Audra and Tucker lasting. And I see her without even a gap moving right on with Nate, so she won't be one of the people left hanging and unlucky in love. Frankly, I don't see Tucker getting back with Ashley, and in part that's because I don't think Eileen Davidson is going to stay around long term. She's only on recurring. That's her preference, and she is back for this big, messy mental health story, which I'm sure is, Emmy fodder. She's doing great work. But after that, Eileen may step back again, and Trevor St. John should be staying because he's on contract. All right, the second couple I want to talk about is Billy Abbott and Chelsea Lawson. They do seem to be doing okay right now, but there are some red flags. I mean, first, there's the whole issue of whether they even should be together, and that's because of how they first met. If you remember, Chelsea drugged and raped him down in Myanmar, I think. Am I saying that right? And she ended up getting herself pregnant with Billy's kid. And of course, the kid wound up being adopted. That's Johnny. That was back in Chelsea's con woman days, so it is very dodgy. But the story of Billy literally talking her off the ledge was so powerful. And that was the genesis of this relationship with them. And I have mostly enjoyed them as a couple if you ignore that horrible backstory of how they met and what she did to him. But another issue is his close proximity to Lily Winters lately. He's been trying to talk her into taking over Chancellor Winters with him. She pushed back, and then he wound up getting all of Jill's voting power and control. So now Lily is conspiring with Nate and Devon to oust Billy and Jill, but Abby is voting against the Winters people. So it's all getting very messy. And there's always the chance Abby will spill the beans to Jill or Billy on what they're planning. In the end, Lily may decide to go ahead and work with Billy, that whole if you can't beat them, join them sort of mentality. And working together might re-spark their romance. Billy has been loyal to Chelsea, but, he's a guy with a lot of demons and a history of double dipping on women. And he's got a history with Lily that honestly I enjoyed. I enjoyed him a lot with Lily. But if you recall, things fell apart when he basically got bored, lost interest at Chancellor Winters, and just wandered away. And when he and Lily weren't working together every day, then they started losing connections. And then Chelsea was spiraling and he stepped up to help her. But with Billy back to CW and in a position to run the business alongside Lily with the power he's been given, I could totally see them getting together again. If so, that could leave Chelsea out in the cold, except for some red flags I'm seeing about Sally and Adam. I'll say up front, also, I hate the idea of Adam and Sally splitting up, but Josh Griffith has done it before. And I'm confident if he wants to, he'll do it again. I love Sally with Adam. I think they have this great spark, but they don't have much of a storyline together as a couple. Adam's storyline right now is with Chelsea and Connor, and Sally is basically his emotional support dog. She's beautiful, not a dog. I don't mean that in an insulting way, but I mean just that she's propping him up emotionally. She's got this kind of passing storyline about her failing business, but it's not even talked about that much. And, when Adam and Chelsea were bickering and not getting along, I didn't have any worries, but they're getting along really well. They're suddenly on the same page, improbably. They agree about the approach Connor's doctors are taking. They both want to take blame for his OCD. The other's saying, no, it's not your fault. Sally left them alone the other day at his place, and Chelsea and Adam had this amazing conversation. They seem to be healing what's broken between them. So yeah, I could totally see Chelsea drifting back to Adam, especially if Billy is at loose ends and is drifting around. There's a whole legion of Chatham fans who would love to see them reunite and Sally to be out of the way. I do like Chelsea and Adam, but I like Sally with Adam, and I would much rather see Chelsea back with Nick. But I suspect eventually Josh Griffith is going to remember Nick needs to get laid and put him with either Sharon or Phyllis. If it goes this way and these three breakups happen, Audra and Tucker, Chelsea and Billy, and Sally and Adam, here's the new couples I suspect we would get. Audra and Nate, Chelsea and Adam, Billy and Lily, and that will leave Tucker and Sally at loose ends. But if you think about it, Tucker and Sally might be a really fun couple if Josh Griffith paired them. They both have that troubled childhood grifter energy. They both have kind of a high level of energy when, in chewing the scenery. I actually think they would be a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes and what couples survive the coming changes. But what do you think? Have you noticed any red flags of coming breakups, shakeups, and new pairings on Young and the Restless? Drop your comments, subscribe if you haven't, and definitely come back soon. We're here talking Young and the Restless 7 days a week. And as always, I'm your host, Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.